footage of Luce Cannon and Bricc Baby getting into a heated fight behind bars just hit the internet, and it's spreading fast. The clip these two locked in a tense confrontation that quickly turned physical, leaving fans shocked and confused about what led to the altercation.
And we just had a couple of incidents, but at the end of the day, is we maintained it and head up, and we programmed it. But at the end of the day, is I can't wait to come home to my wife.
According to Luce and his wife, Luce was involved in an actual fight in jail alongside Bricc Baby and Big U.
So let me guess. Luce Cannon and Bricc Baby got into a fight in their cell, and one of them had to roll it up and leave.
That's funny. Very close. Very close. They both did get into a fight, but other people was involved in the fight too.
Oh, really?
Wait, hold up. They jumped Big U? Oh, cuz.
No, they didn't jump Big U. But best believe Big U was also involved.
Luce hopped on a call and walked us through how it all started, but he did keep it vague. Basically, he saw someone he had beef with in the yard, walked up to the dude and went full WWE. Luce left names out on purpose, but the drama didn't stop there. Apparently, the dude he ran up on had ties to other people, including Big U and Bricc Baby. And from there, the whole thing turned into a group altercation. Everybody got sent to the hole, and it doesn't stop at round one. When the guards brought the other dudes involved to the hole too, they started brawling again in solitary. The wild part is that after all that mess, Luce actually got back on the phone and put Bricc Baby on the line. And Bricc sounded quite chill, maybe a bit too chill. Both Luce and Bricc sounded like they were having the time of their lives behind bars, cracking jokes, catching fades. They're out there in the yard, dorm life, acting like it's a retreat, not prison. Now how are Bricc Baby and Luce Cannon even cellmates? Aren't they on different cases? Yes, and that's exactly why they can bunk together. See, Luce Cannon is wrapped up in a federal RICO indictment, while Bricc Baby is just facing a separate state gun charge. Since they're not co-defendants, there's nothing stopping the jail from housing them together. And for the people asking how Big U ended up in the same yard, jails mix pods when inmates are out in the courtyard. So it's totally possible for people from different units to run into each other. And apparently, this is one of those times where tensions boiled over. So while the rest of us were worried about what happened to them, Bricc and Luce were out there knuckling up and living their best locked up lives. But still, this fight might have shifted some dynamics on the inside. And now with Big U's name attached, this whole thing just keeps getting spicier. But let's rewind a bit and see how this situation came to be in the first place. As mentioned already, this thing between Luce and Bricc started when Luce was moved from Vegas to an LA facility. And that's the same spot where Brick's locked up, along with a few others tied up in that RICO situation. Now here's where things get wild. Luce and Bricc didn't just end up in the same facility, they were actually placed in the same cell.
You won't believe who's my cellie.
Who?
Bricc Baby.
What?
Now let's pause right there. If you're even a little familiar with how the feds move, this sounds fishy. Why would they put two people with potentially connected cases in one cell unless they're trying to listen in on what's being said? Some are already speculating that the cell is bugged, that the feds want to catch one of them slipping, maybe even talking about the case. And that theory doesn't sound too far off. One wrong convo could mess up everything. Then we get this prison call where Bricc is talking to Charisse and he straight up admits he pulled some strings to make sure him and Luce ended up as cellies. Like, Bricc got that kind of pull in there. People are even calling him the 5-star general of the pod, saying he decides who bunks with who. So apparently, it wasn't the system that put them together. It was Bricc Baby calling shots. That low-key made folks breathe a little easier. If the feds didn't force that cell situation, maybe it's not a setup. But still, people in the streets are saying don't talk about nothing in that cell. Like, literally, not even good morning. Cause if it is bugged, that's a one-way ticket to self-snitching. Now here's where things take a darker turn. A few days after that call where they confirmed they were bunking together, everything went quiet. No phone calls, no updates. And then, out of nowhere, Luce's wife hops on YouTube saying she ain't heard from him since that call.
I just pray that he calls me. I just don't know. I don't like the fact that I have not spoken to him in the past 24 hours. Like, even before he went to court, like, why didn't you try calling me?
And then this leaked prison footage hit the internet where we hear about Bricc and Luce fighting behind bars. People are trying to figure out what triggered it. Was it the feds setting them up? Was there tension that boiled over? Or is this some deeper street issue we don't even know about yet? After that video went viral, everybody online started asking the same question. Where is Luce? Folks even called the jail directly to check if it was on lockdown. But nope, no lockdown, no announcements, no updates. But just when things already felt off, it gets messier. Charisse reaches out to Brick's wife, and she says she hasn't heard from Bricc either. Now let's be real, if only one of them went ghost, people might have assumed they got into it with someone, or maybe slipped up on some rules. That screams altercation, so the theories start flying. Did Luce and Bricc get into it with each other? Did they squad up and fight somebody else? Because whatever it was, it looks like they both caught some heat behind it, and we finally found out that they did in fact get into it. But some still think that the altercation never really happened, and that the whole thing was staged for the content. We can't really say. There's plenty of reasons to go around for both stories. One thing that we gotta mention though, is the fact that Big U was involved. We know that Bricc and Luce are in the same cell out in a Los Angeles facility. They're real cozy, talking on the phone together, vibing, maybe even catching fades together, like it's some kind of street reunion summer camp. I mean, you heard the call? As for Big U, yeah, he's locked up too, but he's in federal custody and on a whole different level of legal trouble. This man surrendered voluntarily and came to court in shackles. All three of these dudes, Big U, Bricc Baby, and Luce Cannon, were caught up in a massive federal crackdown called Operation Drawdown. This operation is not playing around. It specifically targeted the Rollin' 60s Crips, and the charges include organized crime, mob ties, and serious violence. Big U is the big fish. He's being painted as a full-on mob boss with a list of charges that includes RICO violations, murder, human extortion, and fraud. Luce and Bricc are listed as associates in this so-called criminal enterprise. They're not just extras in this movie, they got roles. And just so we're clear, this ain't state charges. This is federal time. If convicted, Big U is facing life.
If convicted, well, he's facing life in prison, essentially. It's just too many counts.
Yo, two things. What are the two things your lawyer always told you to avoid?
What's that?
Being on the phone and rats.
Big U's next court dates were April 8th for arraignment and April 10th for his detention hearing. That March 31st hearing that was supposed to happen, apparently that got pushed, probably because this case is so big and messy, the court needed time to even sort through the mess. And his defense? Big U is saying the feds are coming for him just because of his community outreach and the work he's done for the youth. That's cute, but the government keeps bringing up that in 2021 that he did over a diss track, allegedly. But you can't talk about Big U without bringing up Nipsey. Big U used to be a mentor to Nipsey, but things got rocky between them years before Nipsey's passing. And here's where it gets murky. Luce Cannon has alleged that Big U had prior knowledge of what happened to Nipsey. Now let me be clear, that's unproven, and there's no solid receipts tying Big U to Nipsey's death. But the accusation alone is enough to make folks side-eye. So Big U, Bricc Baby, and Luce are all caught up in one of the biggest RICO indictments tied to West Coast gang activity in years. And the feds are moving like they got surveillance, wiretaps, and receipts on everybody. So if you thought this story was over after that jail fight tea, well, we're just getting started. But what do you think about this whole case? Do you think the fight between these three was legit, or is it just fake content? Let us know about it down below.